Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to talk about graphing sine and cosine functions when they have different amplitudes than your typical one. So what these two formulas are here, they're kind of the basic formula that we're going to be using today. So we have y equals either a sine x or y equals a cosine x. And that a value is what the absolute value of a, that's the amplitude of the function. And what amplitude is what controls how high and low the graph goes. So when we have just a basic function y equals sine x, you guys could all tell me, well, the maximum value is gonna be 1 and the minimum value is gonna be -1. And why that is because this can be written as y equals 1 sine x. Well, the amplitude of that a is 1, so that means it's gonna go up by a value of a and down by a value of a, and that's how you get your maximum and minimum of a sine function. So now let's go to one of our tougher examples where the value of a is not just a 1. So in this case we have a value of a of 6 if we look at this one, because that's what's in front of sine. So, well, amplitude, absolute value of 6 equals 6. Well, so that the amplitude is 6, first thing I would do is draw my top and bottom. We know that, well, from the center it's going to go up by a value of a, and it's going to go down by a value of a. So it's going to be all the way up at, we'll say 6 is here. It's going to be all the way down at, say, -6. Then we still need to graph it like normal, so we've got pi over 2, we've got pi, we've got 3 pi over 2, and we've got 2 pi, because there has been no change in the period or anything, just a change in amplitude. So again, don't freak out too much. We're just going to start back at our normal 0, 0. And you know how normally a sine would go up, it's going to do that again, except now instead of going up to 1, it's going to go up all the way to 6. So pi over 2, 6 will be our next critical point. Then it's just going to go all the way back down to where it's even with that x-axis. So pi 0. And then if we're following the pattern, we're just going to go back down here. We're going to be at 3 pi over 2, -6. Then we're going to go right back up to 0. So we'll get 2 pi, 0 will be the next one. So that's what you do with amplitude. Notice that it goes up by a value of a and down by a value of a from wherever the center line is, which in this case is 0. So now we're getting a little bit tougher example. We have a equals -3. And what we have right here, the absolute value of a is the magnitude. So let's say, well, absolute value of -3, we know that that's 3. So 3 is equal to the amplitude. So first thing we can do is, well, since our center line is going to be at 0, we can go up by a value of a, which is 3. So we need to go up 3 and down by a value of a, which we know is 3. So this would be 3. This will be -3. Then since, well, I may as well put in my pi over 2, my pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And since it's a cosine, we know it's going to start at the highest point of the graph, but because it's negative right here, that's like we're flipping it over the x-axis. It does a reflection. So normally we'd say, okay, well, it's cosine, so it starts up here, but just take your cosine graph and flip it over, and it's going to start right here at -3, 0, -3. It's like a reflection over the x-axis, or just whatever the center of your cosine function is, which in this case is the x-axis. So then instead of starting down, we're actually going to be starting up, because we can't go any lower than this -3. So we're going to go up here to pi over 2, 0, and then we're going to go, pi is going to be at 3. 3 pi over 2 is going to be back at 0. And then 2 pi, we're going to be back at -3. So it's going to be like this, and like this. And so what we did, we pretty much, this negative flipped our graph over, and then the amplitude of 3 made it go up all the way to 3 instead of just going up to 1 and -1. Hope this video was able to help. I hope you have a better understanding of what amplitude is, what a negative sign does to a cosine function, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for